Hello, welcome to this video. A friend of mine just sent me on my phone something that's cropped up in The Guardian, a newspaper I don't tend to read that much, where the singer Richard Ashcroft, the singer from The Verve, has said that he thinks that Liam and Noel Gallagher should get a knighthood, right, from King Charles, so you would have Sir Noel and Sir Liam. And I'm not against that at all. So don't think I'm not against that. I think that would be quite cool, to have, Noel and Liam. They've done so much for British music in the last 30 years, without a doubt. Don't have a problem with that, at all. But it did get me thinking, which 10 musicians would I knight? And so I've still got the pen in my hand. I've literally just put it down. I'll show you it. I mean, you probably won't be. You see, there's the work. There's a few scribbled out. Some people were on there for a while, then I took them off and I replaced them with someone else. I moved them around, and they're sort of ranked. They're ranked in the order. I thought, well, number one's going to be that straight off. This is very subjective. But if I was King of England, it would be loads better. Really would. Andrew would have gone a long time ago. But not like just shuffled off as they have done with him. Now, I would have made sure that something happened to him, like he fell down a well. There would have been some sort of well on his land that he would have fallen down and they wouldn't have found him. But anyway, that's by the by. That's really what we want our king to do. I mean, in the old days, the king would go off and kill their own brother if that was needed. I'm not suggesting that with Andrew at all. I'm just saying in the historical England, they would have done such a thing. And, and that's when, if, you were made a knight by the king, it meant something. This doesn't really mean anything, because what is a knight? A knight is someone who will fight on your behalf, but with valour. So they've got manners, and, they know how to treat a lady. If there's a lady in need, basically being kidnapped by a dragon up top of a tower, the knight's going to go out and sort it out. They're going to fight a dragon, and they're going to do it with valour. That's because they've got manners, basically. They're good mannered, but they're also vicious killers. Now, on this list, none of these, I don't think, would be that handy. Well, there's one that I know is handy, and they're in at number 2. So that's the only one that should actually be a knight, because I think in an actual fight, they know how to present themselves, if you know what I'm saying. Shall we just get straight into this, right? Now, I would be using the knighting system that my country has, that the king can bestow on people, to basically raise the profile of certain musicians who've been much maligned by perhaps the class snobbery that exists in this country, that does favour certain musicians over other musicians, and their actual ability on the instrument, that doesn't seem to come into it, because if we were using that, no one would be suggesting, Noel or Liam should have a knighthood. So, who is the greatest genius songwriter in the UK of the last 30 years? Well, I'm pretty convinced that the absolute genius of that period of the last 30 years, the greatest songwriting genius of that period of time, is the incredibly talented Lewis Taylor. Who? I can hear it now. If I just quieten down, I can hear across the nation, across the world, in fact, a very subtle and yet strong who? And that's why Lewis Taylor should get the knighthood. Now, me being a music YouTuber, I should now tell you how great Lewis Taylor is. But I feel that I would rather be all-knowing and not. Because those of you who watch this channel who know your music, you've just gone, oh my God, yeah, Lewis Taylor's a bloody genius. Incredible singer, incredible songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and he's had the most strangest career in the history of songwriters. After being championed by Elton John as being one of the greatest songwriters out there, he tried to erase himself off the face of the earth. Now, why am I doing this? Because I've been aware of this for a long time, that I would like to do a whole video on Lewis Taylor and told the whole story, his whole bizarre story. He's back apparently, and he's making albums, but doesn't seem to be noticed whatsoever. Ever since he wrote that massive hit single for Robbie Williams, he seems to have maybe he's lived off that money. Maybe he's been very frugal with the royalties that he got, and he's put himself in a cave somewhere. He's been living there, drinking rainwater, as all great geniuses should. You know, and I know I'm not explaining who Lewis Taylor is, and I know I'm sewing it for those of you who don't. You go, what, he tried to disappear off the face of the earth, right? And he lives in a cave, and he wrote a song for Robbie Williams. This person's not real. Well, I'll tell you another thing they tried to do as well. They tried to do a note-for-note carbon copy of Trap Mass Replica by Captain Beefheart, where they played all the instruments. And also, Lewis Taylor did an album, and then he did another album, which was all the same songs again. Lewis Taylor's a bloody genius. Lewis, if you're watching this, right, you're still alive. I think you should get a knighthood. Why don't you come on my channel? I know you're a bit strange. I know you're a bit weird. I've spoken to people who've worked with you, and any musicians out there that's ever worked with Lewis Taylor, please come on and tell the world. I don't want to do it, you see. I don't think I'm the right man. I want somebody who's met him. Because without that, I don't think people are going to quite believe it. It'd be like I've come on here and said, I think Bigfoot should get a knighthood, you know, for being one of the great songwriters. And I think Bigfoot should. Number 9. Let's go from the very, less well-known to the extremely well-known. I think that Sting should get a knighthood.
He deals the cards as a meditation.
Now, the main reason why I think Sting should is because, obviously, if he was to become Sir Gordon Sumner, right, that just sounds like a very old civil servant that's just been around long enough, to have received his accolade. No, I want it to be Sir Sting. And I will petition King Charles and say, I don't want this to happen. I've suggested it and I'm putting it out there. Now, a lot of people go, oh, I don't think Sting should have it. Why? Well, I mean, really, Sting, I don't know. He's a bit of an arrogant type. I don't know. And he's not. I've met Sting, right? I've met Sting and I've chatted to him, which means I will now say he's my friend. He's not my friend, but for the purposes of trying to get him a knighthood, Sting's my friend and he was really nice. I've met a lot of famous people and most of them are twats. He's not. He's nice, right? And he is brilliant in every way, shape or form, right? Noel Gallagher, Liam Gallagher Sting, right, is a brilliant bass player. He can do incredible bass playing while singing. He's a brilliant singer. He's around about 80 years old now. I saw him live. He sings exactly the same. He's written a million brilliant songs, right, that have gone in. Every Breath You Take may well be the most famous song in history of mankind, right? And on top of that, he was in The Police, who were the greatest band of all time, but nobody wants to say it. They want to give it to the Beatles. But the Beatles weren't as good as The Police. And The Police made like 5 albums or something, and each one was a masterpiece. He can play the jazz, right? He's put all these incredible musicians forth. He's done all these different styles of music. He writes songs that have got a sense of humour. He writes songs that are really emotional. Sting's up there with Kate Bush, and she should be getting it. I didn't put Kate on. Has she got anything? I'm sure she's got an OBE or something. What does she get if she doesn't get Sir? Does she? She becomes a dame. I don't like that. I don't want to be dishing damehoods about. That's what New York people call ladies, isn't it? A dame. Hey, Kate Bush, she's a dame. I don't like. I think they should scrap it, and I think it should be Sir Kate Bush as well. Especially in this modern world where you can mix all the genders up and get all cosmopolitan with your gender assignments. Let's assign her as a Sir. Right, and all our great Joan Armatrading, there's another Sir. I might have to do a ladies one of all our great ladies we've got in our country. Bjork, I know she's from Iceland, but I've taken her on. Bjork, she should get a knighthood. Sir Bjork, Sir Joan Armatrading, Sir Kate Bush, right? But I am proffering here, putting forward, and we need to get behind this. Mr. Sting can no longer be Mr. Sting. It should be Sir Sting. I will now move on. At number 8, I have got somebody that most of you will have never, ever heard of him. at all. But when I put this list on, I thought, who's like the best musician that I know, who's bloody unbelievable, and yet nobody really knows about them? Some mate you've got on the progressive rock world. And I thought, Francis Dunner, he's a bit of a bloody legend, maybe him, you know. There's some amazing players that I know on the progressive rock. There's incredible ones. But I tell you, the one guy that, I don't know him well, but we chat every now and then, and I like him very much, is the current keyboardist of Camel, Mr. Peter Jones.
Pull up a chair, please, and feast from my table. Such pleasures are worth more than riches or gold.
Now, Mr. Peter Jones plays keyboards, guitar, saxophone, and probably everything else as well. When he plays the guitar, he plays it like a keyboard, right? He puts it in front of you, he plays it like a keyboard, and he can probably play the saxophone, keyboard, and guitar all at the same time. When he sings, he's one of the greatest singers you will ever hear. In fact, I think he may well be the greatest male singer I know. He's a brilliant musician, a brilliant composer. And then on top of that, Mr. Peter Jones is blind. He's achieved all this whilst not being able to see anything. He's blind, he can't see anything. I mean, I tried to learn all these instruments, you know, but my eyes, I utilise them to work out how to play them. You know, I learned patterns, and I mean, how does he done all this? How's he done all this? And I mean, the guy's a bloody genius. Peter Jones is a genius, but he's blind. I know I know it's politically incorrect, you know, and I know I shouldn't be making a big deal and saying he's disabled. I'm not supposed to say disabled, you know, when he's not able. In the eye department, he's not able. I'm sorry, Peter, if you're watching this, you know. You know me, I am trying to get you a bloody knighthood here, so just let Edwards do it the way I do. I'm sorry, you know, Peter, just let me have a go at this, you know, right? He can't bloody see. He's like Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder, you know. He's like one of them blues guys from the 1930s. They were all blind, right? He doesn't call himself Blind Peter Jones, I don't know. That might be why he's not that well known. Start calling himself Blind Peter Jones, right? This guy's a bloody musical genius. He astonishes me. I saw him live once and he was singing. His voice was like a bloody angel coming in. Peter Jones is one of the greatest musicians that this country's produced, as far as I'm concerned, right? And then on top of that, he's blind. I don't want to make a big deal about it, of course, because that would be wrong, wouldn't it? It would be wrong for me to do so. But I have done, and that's the way it is, you know. Lewis Taylor's off his head. Right? Sting's arrogant, but not really. And Pete's blind, and he's probably not really blind. I never believe these people are blind. Yeah, can't do all that and not be able to see. Right. At number 7, I have, and this one's definite, I think we need Sir Rob Halford.
Started off with a simple biker jacket and then some leather pants. And then it just began to get a little bit more adventurous and a little bit more elaborate.
Yes, the lead singer of Judas Priest. Right, this country invented heavy metal. Heavy metal is the greatest rock genre. Reggae's good, funk's good, indie rock's good. They're all good. We like them all, you know, psychedelic rock, all of those. But the greatest genre of all of them is heavy metal. And the reason why heavy metal's so good is because it does the job without actually having any support from the snotty upper class types who look down on it a little bit. And we have our geniuses in this country, our heavy metal geniuses. There's a whole bunch of them. And Judas Priest plays such an important role. Now also, as you know, I'm trying to, you know, get into the sort of modern spirit of identity politics on this knighthood and dish them out, not just on their ability, but on some sort of identity trait that they have. You know, now where Peter Jones is blind, I don't want to keep going on about it, sorry Peter, but I'm trying to make a point here. Rob Halford's a metaler, full-on metaler, but he's gay. He's a gay man. He has survived in the world of metal, right, where they don't tolerate the gays that much, or you wouldn't have thought they would, but they do, because the heavy metalers are decent people. They're not prejudiced against the gay people. And Rob Halford is gay. He's a metal legend, right? He's a ridiculous singer. Rob Halford is like Ozzy Osbourne, an absolutely incredible singer with his own voice. He is the face of metal, and the role Judas Priest play is they take that sound of Black Sabbath and they just take it and they turn it into the form that has then lasted forever. Right, number 5. I have got another incredibly talented man. This bloke is a brilliant instrumentalist, he's a brilliant songwriter, he's a brilliant singer, he's like multi-talented, he's been in films and these films have been successful. He wasn't embarrassing like David Bowie when he was in films. This bloke is the Renaissance man of our age, one of the greatest of all. He's played avant-garde prog out there in on-time signatures, and even played full-on jazz fusion and give the Americans a run for their money. Who is this person of which you speak? It's, of course, Mr. Phil Collins. Phil Collins is amazing. And the thing is that people, right, I can remember when I had a job, right, I was sat there and we were chatting about musicians, and somebody was talking about a crap musician. They goes, yeah, I mean, he's a bit like Phil Collins, really. And us musicians, we stopped. We were chatting away and he says, bit like Phil Collins, really. We stopped. Who said that again? Well, that bloke, you know, he's a drummer, isn't he? You know, I don't think he's very good. A bit like Phil Collins. What are you saying, that Phil Collins isn't good in the drums? Well, no, he's I mean, boom, 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 boom. I mean, even the air tonight. I mean, anyone can do that. Man, you all looking at me. Why are you looking at me? And we were all like, because Phil Collins is a bloody genius. Incredible singer. Why does this country not champion these incredible talents? Why is it that a sort of moderately talented duo like the Gallagher brothers are being put forth? I know they've done a lot, but they're not bloody Phil Collins. And he's rolling Buster. I mean, who else could have pulled that off? You know, he had the Cockney charm about him. He could be sinister, but he was also a reasonably likeable chap. I mean, Ray Winston had got in there doing that. He would have made it too, he would have been too heavy. I mean, who would you have got to do it? Phil Collins is the man. So that's who we've got at number 6 is Phil Collins, because I've gone a bit out of order. Who have I got out at number 5? I have the great Dave Peacock.
Marry a girl from London town, you know you can trust them. They'll darn your socks and wash your mean your trousers if you bust them. They're all good cooks and they got good looks and they won't leave you a dance. I'm gonna find the London girl if I get off a chance.
Who is the bass player and singer in perhaps the United Kingdom's greatest band, greater than the Beatles, greater than Black Sabbath, greater than Led Zeppelin, even greater than the Police, Chaz and Dave. Now, poor old Chaz Hositz died a few years ago, and I would have given him the knighthood straight off. He's not around. But Dave Peacock, who's the other one. I mean, everyone knows Chaz Hositz. When you think of, you know, Chaz and Dave, he's the beardy one on the piano, and he's the main one. And then in the background, you got Dave Peacock on the bass, and then you got that bloke with that's got the Chilby hat on, but his head's too small for it on drums. They're all amazing, right? Dave Peacock and Chaz Hositz in the mid-70s walked into a Labby Sifri session, laid down the heaviest funk beat he'd ever heard. Eminem heard it, sampled it, and put it on his first single, and became one of the biggest artists in the world. And is that down to bloody Labby Sifri's? No, it's not. Labby Sifri was there. Who came up with the groove? Chaz and Dave Peacock. This band created the only true version of British rock and roll, which was then being taken on as Cockney music, and everyone thinks it's a right laugh, you know, rabbit, 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 rabbit. I mean, that's the hip-hop masterpiece. So yeah, I've got Dave Peacock at 5, who's the other bloke who's still alive. Right, incredible musician. Who have I got at number 4? Because I'm going to get a move on this. I only want it to be half an hour long. Right, another band much maligned. One of the greatest bands that ever come out of this country is Level 42. I'd give anyone a bloody knighthood out. That Phil Gould could have it. You know, Mike Lindup, the keyboard player, the other one who's really happy, always really happy doing the high singing, isn't he? You know, this is in love. Mike Lindup, I used to love him. Brilliant keyboardist. We used to have a program on the TV, and it was called, was it called Banzai or something? And it was on later Friday night. If you were a bit drunk and got in, you could bet on it, you know. And they had a thing where you could bet on who could do the fastest chromatic run on a keyboard. And they had Rick Wakeman, who was on my list. I've scribbled him off. I put down Phil Collins instead. I think it's more deserving. They had Rick Wakeman stood there in his cape, and then Mike Lindup from Level 42. I mean, I should have put Mike Lindup, but no, I put Mark King on. And Boone as well, Paul, the late great Boone, who was Phil Gould's brother. He's no longer with us. Gary Husband was in the band as well. I'd have him on. And even the young whippersnapper they've got on drums now, Pete Ray Biggin, I'd have him at knighthood there. He's a bloody amazing drummer, comes in, listening to, level 42 since he was like 3 years old, sat down when he was like about 10 and could play it all, amazing, But Mark King's the man, because for me, Mark King took the slap bass. He was a fan of Return to Forever, right? He's listened to some Larry Graham, he likes Larry Graham, but he's really listened to Stanley Clarke and all those fusion guys, and he starts doing some slap bass. But he doesn't just play it, he takes a slap bass and he brings slap bass right into up front into the cultural context of this country. And he'd be on top of the pops. You had Killing Joke on maybe, or the Smiths had been on. He'd had an enjoyable top. And then he would turn up with his bass up here, all the LED lights flashing, and he's slapping away. In hot world. And nobody turns around and goes, Level 42, one of the greatest bands of all time. They won't ever do it. You know why? Because they're funky. Because they got slap bass on it. And slap bass, the elites can't deal with slap bass. Right? The general public loves slap bass. Right? Slap bass is the best thing there is. It's like the bass and the drums and the guitar all at the same time. You're slapping and you're tapping and you're popping and the thumbs going like this, and it's like you don't need anything else. The slap bass is the best thing going, and yet bass players, they get snotty about it. I only play things and funky. No. And one of the greatest guys is Mark King, and we love him. Mark King is should be bloody royalty. We should have roads named after Mark King. We should have bloody statues up everywhere of Mark King. There he is, this slap bass. They put one of Lemmy up in Stoke-on-Trent. The bloke who made it's got the same name as me, Andy Edwards, right? Well, I might join in, just get on his nerve by becoming a sculptor, and I'm going to do a bloody sculpture of Mark King. And where's he from? The Isle of Man? That's no good. How are you going to put it up in there? No one's going to see it, the Isle of Man, are they? Or Isle of Wight? Is it the Isle of Wight or the Isle of Man? He's from some island anyway, Mark King is. He's probably not now. That's really been dragged up from this sort of dredges as my, memory banks. Anyway, that's who I've got at number 4. Right, at number 3, this is a pet peeve of mine, right? My favourite British drummers would probably be Bruford would be in there without a doubt, like Phil Collins would be in there, but Simon Phillips would be in there, but also the incredible Mark Mondesir, and I have championed him since I came on this channel. I have done a lot of serious videos going, Mark Mondesir is one of the great drummers. And I spoke to Mark the other day, and he sent me a nice message. And I thought, Mark Mondesir has never turned up in a comedy video like this. I thought, he's not the sort of type that you'd put in virtuoso drummer, just blew everybody away. And then he set a standard for drums, which I think hasn't been surpassed. He's an astonishing drummer and not the sort of thing that you can get any humour out of. But I think Mark Mondesir deserves a knighthood. He should be Sir Mark Mondesir, right? Give him his own county that he can live in, right? That's what I suggest with Mark Mondesir. And we elevate him up because this guy is a British jazz musician that's played with the likes of Jeff Beck. He's played with the likes of John McLaughlin. He's done pop gigs, heavy jazz gigs. This guy's done the lot. So many British jazz musicians, they wallow around in the tiny little thing that is the British jazz scene. Not Mark, he's played with all of them. He's respected round the world. He's respected by the Americans, and he can't just take the American drummers on. He'll pick one of them American drummers and kick them so hard up the arse they won't know where they're coming from. Mark Mondesir should be a bloody household name. How can we make him a household name? Take that knighthood off Liam and bloody Noel. Give it to Mark Mondesir. I've got him up at number 3. There's only 2 above him, right? Mark Mondesir should get it, and I tell you why. Because he was in that classic quintet that came out in the 1980s. Courtney Pine came out playing bloody John Coltrane over reggae riffs, right? And he got in the charts, he got the TV, and for a number of years we had heavy, full-on modal jazz in them sort of pop charts almost, and I give it to Courtney Pine. Now Courtney Pine will be stood there bristling. He'll be bristling with knighthoods and KBEs and all sorts. So he might name be a knight. I don't know what he's going to have, an OBE or something. And he's a virtuoso saxophone player. To my ears, doesn't sound like he could play through chord changes, but that's just my opinion. I'm just putting it out there. But he has got the knighthoods. Despite that, I can play through chord changes, by the way, on my guitar, and I'm a bloody drummer. But anyway, that's by the by. But there, Julian Joseph, he's got his, you know, he's got his stuff from the King and the Queen. Gary Crosby, even him, didn't do much in the background, played a bit of bass, you know. But he did a lot of educational stuff. I'll give him that. Anyway, they've all of them have got the gongs, except for Mark, right? And I'll tell you this now. I love that group. It was a massive influence on me. Anyone of my age will remember that. They will remember that period where British jazz suddenly came out of the bloody thing and started to take the world over. And it was that bloody group. But who was the best player in that band? I'm really pushing it here. Mark's a friend of the channel. I chat to him. He hasn't said any of this. I am doing this just to make him embarrassed. That's what this bit is. I am sat here making Mark embarrassed. But I say it from the bottom of my heart. He was the most virtuoso of any of those guys. I tell you it now. Drummers always are. The drums are the hardest instrument to play out of all of them. That's the honest truth. We know, all us drummers know it because we play other instruments. The drums are the hardest. It's like playing 4 instruments all at the same time, right? And you have to have technique just to get a sound out of it. It's not like a piano you just play. I mean, a saxophone, you've got to have a bit of chops to blow that. Yeah, give him that. But not like the drums. People don't understand the sound, the work you have to do just to be able to hit the bloody thing properly once, right? And Mark sounds like butter. I cannot tell you, Mark Mondesir should be a household name. Everyone on this list, give him a knighthood. King Charles, I know you're watching it. Mark Mondesir. So who's hit higher than him? Well, of course, it's Tony Iommi at number 2.
Charlie, Charlie, little monkey, loved by all the girls and boys. Never sad, always happy, and you'll never hear him make a noise.
He invented heavy metal, right? They won't give it to him because he's from Birmingham, right? Now, he might have some sort of, I mean, he's such a bloody legend. He might have something. He might even have the night, because I've done no research on this, but I don't think he has. Sir Tony Iommi, you missed out on Ozzy. He should have had it. Ozzy should have had it. He's gone. The bloke's gone, and thank God we could pay tribute to the man before he went, right? But any of them, Bill Ward, Geezer, get them all night ups. Black Sabbath, scribble it out, you. Get rid of it. Get rid of Tony Iommi. Black Sabbath, all the surviving guys. Right, I've written it in, you see, number 2, you see, Black Sabbath, I've written it in. Right, so who's going to be number 1 on my list? Who's number 1 on my list of people who should get a knighthood? Who should it be? It's bloody obvious. It's the man. It's the musician, the greatest musician of the 20th, definitely the second half of the 20th century, the greatest British jazz musician to ever lived, a guy that played with Hendrix. He can rock out like Hendrix, he can jazz out like bloody John Coltrane, right? He's a spiritual man, he's friends with God, God helps him out all the time. He's recently retired, but still doing bits and bobs, and that's a sad thing. I have tried over and over and over to get this guy on my channel. It's the only bloody box I've got left. That's on the bucket list now. It's got to happen. I've got to have this man on the channel. I have tried every way going. I've tried to I got did a birthday celebration where I got all these musicians to say how great he was. Did he get in touch to come on the channel? No. He decided to go on some other channel that's got like 7,000 bloody subscribers and get asked the same questions by someone who doesn't know anything about his career like me. That's what he did. I'm going to be put off this. I've even tried to shame him on the last time I mentioned him on the channel and said he was the #1 person I wanted to interview and he won't be interviewed by me. But there must be somebody watching my channel who knows this man and will say, oh, he's done another video, just put you at #1 again. He's probably going, oh God, not again. It's embarrassing. Someone messaged me that they thought that the reason why this man had not got in touch because he's actually scared of me. You don't need to be scared of me. Now, who is it? Of course, it's John McLaughlin. Anybody who watches this channel knows it's John McLaughlin. John, you should have a knighthood. Sir John McLaughlin. Now, I know you're all spiritual and you're probably not into knighthoods anyway, you know. Sainthood. How about that, John? I'll vote for it. Right? So we give Tony Iommi, that he's #1, and then above him, I say we have Saint John of McLaughlin Shire. Is that right? We will make John McLaughlin a saint, but don't you make them saints when they die, unlike the knighthood. So let's scrap that and just wheel it in, Andy. You've gone too far. That was too far. You're trying to prove to John McLaughlin that he shouldn't be scared by you, and you are now wishing death upon him so that he can become a saint. And that's a bit weird. I do apologise, Mr. McLaughlin. I didn't mean it. I know you're watching now. There's no way you're not watching, right? My channel's so big now that I mean, here I am, right? This is the John McLaughlin channel. I don't care what anyone else says. It's here. It's me. I love him. I've loved him since I was 15 years old. And when I heard his guitar playing, I heard the bloody inner struggle, the inner turmoil that I had in me, which I thought was just mine, and I didn't realise was that someone else could feel it. I felt it in his playing, but I felt the bloody way out. And here I am now, famous YouTuber, celebrated all around the world, right? Sat there, you know, look how nonchalant I am sat here with the bloody arm up like this. Nobody else would do this on YouTube. This is how relaxed I am. I know what I'm doing here, right? And this is it. The 10 people who should be knighted, 30 minutes long. That's what I plan to do. We're right at the end of it. It should be John McLaughlin. Look at the YouTube skill that's just happened. And like literally half an hour, someone said, you know, my mate, why don't you do the top 10, you know, musicians should be knighted? Half an hour later, it's done. I sat there, thought it should be a 30-minute, and here it is, coming in at 30 minutes. I'm the man. Come on, and if you think I am, I'm not. I know I'm being a bit arrogant, but I know it and you know it. So, you know, show us some love as well. I mean, maybe I should be up for some sort, not a knighthood, but at least a sort of MBE or something, you know. Just if you lot start pushing the royal family, I mean, they're going to be a bit, you know, unfocused at the moment on this sort of stuff. They'll just probably bang one out to anybody. So put a good word in for me. And if you don't want to do that, put a like on it, subscribe, join the Patreon. And as you can see, I'm going to finish exactly on 30 minutes.
As comfortable as you were, if words weren't making sense as well, then what you might have seen might be reality if your vision's constantly blurred. Will come and play, yeah. And what has leading you to do a plan that I don't plan to do, and take your leadership, oh, and be done with it.
Hello there. If you watch my channel regularly, then I assume you will like the music that I talk about, whether it be progressive rock, or maybe jazz rock, or experimental music, or just classic rock, or maybe at the other end of the spectrum, some weird experimental stuff. If you're into that, you may be interested in following this link here and going and checking out the Andy Edwards radio show. For a small fee, you can download 12 episodes, each one at least an hour and a half long. That's hours and hours and hours of music. You can actually get to hear some of the stuff that I talk about on this channel. And not only that, every single recording that you hear is taken from my personal vinyl record collection, which has then been recorded live, because I do these shows live like they used to do in the old days on old radio shows. None of this having Spotify, I just played stuff off Spotify. I played the records, recorded the records into my big computer in my studio, and then remastered them, cleaned them up. In some cases I took mono recordings and turned them into stereo recordings, and every now and then I created my own epics out of existing tracks. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, plus you get my banter in between the tracks, not too much but enough to explain while I'm playing them. So yes, if you like what I do here, please go and check out my radio show, which is called the Andy Edwards Radio Show. It's over on my Patreon, but if you follow this link here, you don't need to be a patron or even a member. You could go directly there and buy it straight from the site. I think it's £10 for hours and hours and hours. You will get your money's worth, I promise you, and you will enjoy it because I say you will. So I think I have sold that enough, and that's it. End of this advert. Thank you very much. Bye bye.